Hello everybody, welcome to EduTap. PFRDA Grade A Phase 1 is scheduled on 6th of September. And right now if you are into your preparation stage, then this particular video is for all of you. Why? Because in this particular video we are going to solve all the previous year questions of the year 2021 and 2022, but we will only target Phase 1 Paper 2 right now. Okay, because Phase 1 Paper 1, which is your Q, R, E and CA, is dynamic, right? But when it comes to your PFRD Grade A Phase 1 Paper 2, it compromises of 7 different sections: management, commerce and accounts, costing, companies act, finance, pension and economics. So right now what we will do is we will solve multiple previous year questions of all these 7 different components, and this particular video is very important. Why? Because a question which has appeared in management of the year 2022, the same question, or you can say a similar kind of question, can appear in 2025 also, because certain subjects over here are static. So please watch this particular video till the end, and this will be very helpful for you. Okay, first I will start with management, then commerce and accounts, then costing, then companies act, and likewise we will cover all the different sections. So what we are waiting for, let's start. Before I move ahead, my friends, if you still need the detailed syllabus of the PFRD Grade A paper, then please download this free ebook which we are providing you for free, right? And you can go and download this particular ebook from the description box below. Now you might ask me that why this particular ebook is needed. Why as a student you should download it? Simply because this ebook will help you to identify the complete syllabus of the PFRD Grade A paper. For example, in notification you would see that they have just mentioned the topics, but they have not given you the detailed syllabus. They have not given you the subtopics. So this ebook will help you with the topics, plus it will also help you with the subtopics. So this ebook is kind of a very important document which you should all have, specifically for Phase 1 and for Phase 2 as well. Again, the link is given in the description box below. Please go and download it. Now let's start with the PYQs of management. First I will take the PYQs of 2021, then I will take the PYQs of 2022. Let's start. Question number 1 is on your screen, and yes, we will maintain certain speed so that this video can be concluded in the shortest period as possible. Now, and this is a revision video. This is not your concept building video. Revision as in, like, I hope some of your topics have been completed and now you are coming to practice these questions with me. Okay, first question: what is the name of the motivation theory that is based on the concept of homeostasis? Two-factor theory was given by Frederick Hertzberg, wherein we discuss about hygiene and your satisfiers, which is not your correct answer. Equity theory was given by John Stacy Adam, wherein you compare your input and output, again not the right answer. ERG theory was given by Eldeffer. Right, ERG में E stands for existence, R stands for relatedness and G stands for growth. Drive reduction theory was given by Clark Hull, and reinforcement theory was given by E.L. Thorndike, right? So right now the correct answer of this particular question will be option number D, because in option number D, which is drive reduction theory, may we discuss the concept of homeostasis. Homeostasis is a kind of an imaginary concept wherein all your biological needs are met. Okay, so in this theory of drive reduction theory, we discuss the concept of homeostasis. Therefore, the correct answer will be option number D. Moving forward to the next question. A dash is one who makes subordinate feel that they are participating in the decision making process even though he or she has already taken the decision. See, a democratic leader will never do so, because democratic leader involves the teams and decision making process. Paternalistic leader, keywords are absent, because in paternalistic leader you have a dominant authority who takes all the decision. Free rein leader, which is kind of delegative in nature, over here the maximum power is given to the team members to make the decision. So if you see, the correct answer over here will be option number A. A manipulative autocratic leader is a kind of a leader who will play with your minds. Like, he will show you some positive side, but in actual it is just, hollow. Or you can say it is just showing you, like, the leader is just showing you the positive side, but if you see and go through the deep analysis, you will see that nothing is there. So because in manipulative autocratic leader, what happens is they are giving you promotion. Let's say they are giving you promotion. Okay, this looks positive, but if this promotion is not giving you any cash hike, this promotion is not giving you any salary hike, this is not giving you any respect in this company, it is not giving you any I would say any other advantage which is associated to promotion. No, nothing is given to you. You have been just said that you are promoted, but all the benefits of promotions are not given to you. In that case, this is just a positive side, right? They are showing you that they are giving you a positive promotion. But at the end of the day, are they giving you any positive expect related to promotion? No, right? So they are just playing with your mind. So this is the feature of manipulative autocratic leader. So therefore your answer will be option number A. Next question. Motivation theory in which person explores, experiences, innovates, etc. is known as what? Now this question is quite vague, I know. Okay, this is a memory based question, but if you see, LDFR ERG theory cannot be your right answer because it talks about existence, relatedness and growth. Hansberg two-factor theory is again not the right answer because over here you talk about your two factors, which are your hygiene and your satisfiers. Adam equity theory again doesn't make any sense because over here you compare your input to outputs. Vroom expectancy theory, which talks about instrumentality, expectancy and valency, is again not making any sense. So right now you are left with only option number A, which is extended Maslow theory. In the comment box, if you can tell me how many needs were given under original Maslow theory and how many needs were given under Maslow extended theory, then I will be thinking that yes, you are going on the right track. So I need these two answers in the comment box. And yes, certain times what happens in the paper is that you have to use elimination technique. Nowhere Clayton Alderfer, Hansberg, Adam equity or Vroom expectancy theory talks about experiences, innovation and exploring, right? Only Maslow extended theory wherein you see the needs of cognitive needs, wherein you see the needs of aesthetic needs, wherein you see the needs of self-actualization and transcendence. Yes, in that sense, option number A is correct over here, right? But I do need the answers of these two simple questions in the comment box. Moving forward to the next one. This question is about HRD. The HRD function that focuses on training given to the employees, not just for their job, but also for the organization other functions. See, if you are only giving training for one set of work, then definitely that's a kind of a short-term orientation work. But if you are giving training for multiple other different functions, which will help the employee in present scenario plus in the future scenario, in that case, it's career development. It's career development. In career development only, my friend, you try to make sure that your employee is ready in the present sense, plus he is ready for some future task also. Right? And in the question it is clearly said that you are training employees not just for their job but also for the organization other functions. So this means for future, right? So therefore your answer will be option number C. Career planning is like just you are planning and you are not doing anything. It's like a student is there in, let's say, in the final year of graduation, and what he will do in the next year or in next to next year, which college he will join, that is kind of career planning. Okay, but in career development you do the training also. So over here the work has started and you are not just training on one work, rather you are training on multiple work. So therefore your answer will be option number C. Next question. The management characteristics that consist and that is consistent and goes by the rules and also deals with the rank and files is also known as what? Management as dynamic function? No, because management as a dynamic function basically means that management can change as per the time. Okay, previously some people were using autocratic, but now they have turned into democratic leadership. So this is dynamic. Okay, management is a social process. Again, not the correct answer for this question. Management is a social process means what? That management is kind of giving something to the society. You all would have heard about CSR, corporate social responsibility. Management is universal in character. This basically means even a small business operating in India, even a big business operating in America, or even a business operating in China, they would be using the management principles. But this is not the correct answer. Clearly it says what? Characteristics that it is consistent and goes by the rules. So rules comes under authority only, right? So therefore the correct answer will be option number D. Management is a system of authority. System of authority means what? That there will be a CEO who will be at the topmost level. Then your different departmental heads will come, purchase department head, marketing department head, likewise, and then you will have your low level employee. So this is system of authority. Now my $1 billion question to you is, journal manager will fall under which particular level of management? Journal manager, will it come under top or will it come under middle? So I have asked you three questions. First, how many needs were given by Maslow? How many needs were given under extended Maslow? This is your second question. And the third one is that journal manager comes on what level of management? Top, middle or low? Moving forward, the right answer of this question is option number D. Question number whatever it is, the type of management that motivates employee for working towards betterment of society is known as what? The type of management that motivates employee for working towards the betterment of society. Okay, see, it will be link building. Link building means what? That my organization should be able to build certain good links with the society. Synergetic, it comes from the team. Synergy, you need to have a synergy in your team. Productivity management focuses on increasing the production. Coercive management, although not adopted, but it can be adopted by your autocratic leaders. Coercive management means what? That you are using physical push. You are using physical push. Human resource management deals with HRD. Right? So the correct answer over here will be option number A only. Next question. The communication network in which all the members of the groups communicate with each other and exchange information is known as what? So this is simply star network, right? Because in star what happens? A person can talk to multiple people at the same time, right? D can talk to A, D can talk to C, D can talk to B. At the same time, A can talk to D, A can talk to B, A can also talk to C. So it's a kind of a star. Okay, it's like all channel. Okay, under chain, you have a strict chain pattern which will be followed, either upwards or downwards. Wheel is like you will have the centralmost authority and the messages will pass to that particular authority. Circuit network is like kind of circular in nature, you can say. And vertical is again straight. Vertical is again upward or downward. So the correct answer over here will be option number A, which we have discussed. Moving forward to 2022 questions, but if I see till now, the questions which we have solved are easy to moderate. Till now, I have not seen any question which I will put under the hard category. Okay. Now moving to the questions of 2022. Read the question. Identify the role of a manager or a leader wherein the manager constantly collects information about those factors which may affect his activities, maybe within the organization and outside it. So over here, if you see Henry Mitzberg roles of managers, if say question liya gaya hai, right? Henry Mitzberg roles of manager. The correct answer over here will be monitor role. Why? Because under monitor role, you collect the information. Okay. Under disseminator role, you distribute the information inside the company. Under spokesperson, maybe you distribute the information, but this is outside the company. Okay, in disseminator, it's inside. Disturbance handler is like you are handling the disturbance which are happening in your company. So the correct answer over here will be option number A, because you are collecting the information. See, it is clearly said over here, wherein the manager constantly collects the information. Okay, so once you collect the information, it's monitor role only. And all these different roles are very important. I again say Henry Mitzberg 10 different roles of manager which are categorized in 3 categories. You have to do it. Okay. Next, this question is moderate, I think, because when I was making the PPT of this particular session, I found this question as interesting also. From the following given options, identify the theory of management which explains that organizations are social entities that are person-oriented, subdivided and consciously structured and designed as coordinated activity systems and organization. And organization is a system composed of interacting and interdependent parts called subsystems. So they have given you a good paragraph. Now you have to ask yourself that which particular theory it is. Content theory does not make any sense, right? System theory is the correct answer, because under system theory you see what? That organization has multiple subsystems, technical also and social also. All these subsystems talk to each other. They have a kind of a conversation within themselves which leads to the development of the good company. Scientific theory, which was given by F.W. Taylor, does not make any sense. Management theory, again, this also does not make any sense. So this was a kind of a weird question, I would say, but again, it will be of moderate level. The correct answer will be option number B. Moving forward, from the following given options, identify the leadership style wherein the leader creates harmony. Leader creates harmony in the workplace and makes employee happy. The leader attempts to build strong relationships with the employees in hopes of building loyalty. Now see, paternalistic does not make any sense because in paternalistic you have a dominant authority and nothing is mentioned about dominant. Autocratic again does not make any sense. If you are confused between democratic and affiliative leadership, the correct answer will be option number C. Why? Because in democratic leadership, you also search for certain more keywords, right? You search for team decision making process, social equality, right? Upward and downward decision making, which is not in this case. Clearly the correct answer will be option number C, because under affiliative leadership, you try to create harmony in your company. You try to make sure that employees are having a kind of a positive mindset. I do not hate you, you do not hate me. So that is affiliative leadership. Okay. Next question. Leadership is the art of motivating a group of people to act towards achieving a common goal. There are different leadership styles. In the same regard, identify the leadership style wherein the leader consults, invite, invite suggestions from the fellow team members. Now this is taken from your, I would say, Blake and Mountain. Produce and perish is a kind of an autocratic, which will not be the case because over here you are consulting and inviting suggestions. Evade and elude is like worst of both the worlds. Basically you are not able to focus on task also and you are not able to focus on the team also. Task management is again kind of autocratic in nature. Okay. Team management should be the right answer over here, which is option number D, because under team management you try to make sure that your people are also happy in the company and your task is also very productive. Okay, so team management will be the right answer. Compromising never makes any sense over here. Next question. From the following given options, identify the leadership style wherein the leader focuses on supervision, organization, performance, and such leaders pay a close attention to the followers' work in order to find defaults and deviation. Now, if you know about transactional leadership, in transactional leadership, there is a concept of management by exception. Right, a leader will only focus on the major work, right? And leader also follows what carrot and stick approach. Right, so if you see, this is the feature of transactional leadership, therefore the right answer will be option number D. Again, democratic, does it even make sense over here? Does it? Because in democratic you invite decisions, you make sure your team members are taking part in the decision making process. Free reign again does not make any sense because in free reign you try to be delegative, full power is given to the team members. Participative is just another name of democratic only. So therefore the correct answer will be option number D, which is transactional leadership. Moving forward to the next question. Identify the barrier of communication wherein the word which is used commonly in particular field but not in other fields. Okay, so this is the description of a barrier. Identify the barrier to the communication wherein a word which is used in a particular field but not in other field. As a result, there is no common understanding between sender and receiver. So what type of barrier this is? Technical jargons, faulty translations, use of gestures or ambiguity. The correct answer will be jargon. For example, if I say option. Now option can be considered as a, I would say what? It can be considered as a simple literature like a choice. But if I say call option, if I say put option, if I say naked options, if I say matured option, in that sense you need your finance knowledge. If you do not have finance knowledge, then these words will be jargon for you. Right, a simple option which is choice is clear for all of us. Option means what? Choice only, right? But if I call them as technical words, then you will not be able to understand it because you don't have finance knowledge. So this happens once you are using some words which are specific to one community but not to the other. So therefore the answer will be option number A. So that completes all the questions of management. In management again, what matters is that how good your concepts are and how good you are playing with the options. Okay, management generally is easy to moderate. Okay, the 90% of the questions will be easy to moderate only. 10% can be tough also. Okay, so that completes our management. Now let's start with commerce and accounts. ESOP is offered at 75 when the market value of the share is 90. Market price on the date of exercising of option is 84. What is the fair value of option recorded in the books of account? Now when you are doing accounting, you are doing accounting for the business, not for the employees. Okay. Now ESOP is offered to you at 75 and the market value of the share is 90. This basically means what? ESOP was given to you as an employee. ESOP was given to you at 75, right? But at the date of granting that particular ESOP, the market value was 90. Okay, and see, once you have ESOP, then there is a vesting period, right? You have to hold that ESOP, and after the period of time you can exercise it in the open market. Market prices on the date of exercise of option is 84, but the question is asking you what is the fair value of option. Fair value of option recorded in the books of account will only come from the date of granting. So on the date of granting, the ESOP was 75 and it was valued in the market at 90. Okay, so this price of 84 is not valid for all of us because this is the exercising price. The fair value will be recorded on the date of grant only. So basically you just have to do 90 minus 75, right? My market value is 90 and I am getting the ESOP at 75. So what is the difference? 15, right? So I have to record the value of ESOP at rupees 15 only, and the fair value of option recorded in the books of account will be rupees 15, right? ESOP, employee stock option plan. I hope you know about it, right? The correct answer will be option number C. The overall logic over here is that you have to look for the day of granting. You have to work on day of granting and not on the day of exercising. Day of exercising is for employee, not for the business, right? You have given the ESOP to an employee. Now he can do whatever he wants to do once the vesting period is over. Okay, so you have to work for business, and for business the fair value will depend upon the day of granting only. Next question. A company has the outstanding preference shares of 15 lakh. Okay, so this is the outstanding preference shares, of which 9 lakh will be redeemed using divisible profits, and the rest equity share will be issued having a face value of 8. So company has the outstanding preference shares of 15 lakh, of which 9 lakh will be redeemed. So if you deduct 15 may say 9, then your balance will be what? 6 lakh, right? Your balance will be 6 lakh, and the rest of equity shares will be issued having a face value of 8. Calculate the number of equity shares to be issued by the company. Calculate the number of equity shares. So simply you have 6 lakh divided by the face value. So 6 lakh divided by 8 will give you 75 if I'm not wrong. So your answer will be option number B only. Okay, very basic mathematics. You don't even need calculators for this. Number of equity shares to be issued will be what? 15 minus 9, which will be 6. 6 divided by the face value of 8, right? This is what you do, right? If you have the total number of shares which you have to issue, right, divided by the face value. Simple. This is the value which is given to you. This is the value which is given to you, divided by the face value, and now you are getting the quantity. Now you are getting the quantity, which is 75,000 shares. Simple. Okay, next question. A company purchased 50,000 units at 2 per unit. Okay, so this is my buying cost. This is my buying cost, right? Market price of units as on 31st March 2021 is 0.90 per unit. So this is the actual market price right now. Okay, so you buy at 2 and the current market price is 0.90. So prices have fallen. Calculate the value of closing stock to be recorded in the books of account of the company. Now closing stock is recorded on the principle which says that if your buying cost and your current price is given, you have to take the lower one, right? This is the principle of conservatism. I hope you know about it, right? So over here, if you have 2 and 0.90, so you have to take the lower of it, right? So lower of it is what? 0.90. Now just multiply 50,000 by 0.90. Just multiply 50,000 by 0.90. Your answer will be 45,000. कहाँ mistakes हो रही है? इतना easy question तो है. Simply, this is your accounting principle. In your closing stock, whenever you have to record your closing stock, you have to take the lesser. Lesser of what? Your buying price or your current market price of the stock. Current market price of the stock currently is 0.90. So I will take this because this is lower as compared to 2. But let's say if the current market price is, let's say it rises up to 5 per unit. In that case, I have to record my closing stock at 2 only because 5 is more than 2, right? So I will have to take 2 in this case. So basically, if you have to record your closing stock, it will be done on the lesser price. Lesser of what? Lesser of buying price or your, I would say, current market price. Simple. In this case, current market price was low, so we have taken that. Simple. So 50,000 units into 0.90, which will be 45,000 rupees. Next, payment of interest and dividends by a company engaged in providing financial services will be classified as what? Now, this is your cash flow. Please do the understanding of three activities, right? Operating, investing, and financing. If you are paying interest and dividend by the company engaged in providing financial services, so dividend is paid on equity, right? Interest is paid on debt related instruments, and debt and equity helps you in financing. So therefore the correct answer will be option number C. If I'm looking for 10,000 crore of rupees, so this is basically I'm financing my company, right? And the interest and the dividend paid on it will come under financing activity only, which is your option number C. Okay, moving ahead, which of the following is a type of a liquidity ratio? Generally, if you see, there are multiple categories of ratio: liquidity ratio, leverage ratio, profitability ratio, activity turnover ratios also. Now, in liquidity ratio, the most famous one are current ratio, wherein you do your current assets divided by current liabilities. Then you have quick asset ratio, which we also call it as asset test ratio. So your answer over here will be option number B. Asset test ratio or your quick ratio is given by the formula of quick assets divided by your current liabilities. And what is the major difference between your current assets and your quick assets? In current assets you will take all the current assets, but in your quick assets you will deduct, or rather in your quick assets you will not include inventories plus your any prepaid expenses which you have given. Okay, so which of the following is a type of a liquidity ratio? Definitely it will be the asset test ratio. Debt to equity, interest coverage comes under your leverage, right? And your return on capital employed, return on your assets, ROC is return on capital employed, return on asset is ROA. This comes under your profitability if I'm not wrong, right? So correct answer over here will be option number B. Very easy, I would say till now. Moving forward. Now this is an interesting question and this will take some time. You have to do some calculations over here. Now a company has a sales of what? $3,400 with a cost of $2,70,000. Depreciation is given to you as $28,600. Interest expenses is 1,000. Tax rate of flat 34% is given to you. A firm paid out dividends of 16,000. What is the addition for retained earnings? Now retained earnings you will only be able to calculate once you have your net profit in your hand. Now for net profit you have to draw out your entire income statement, right? So start with sales. Sales is given to you as 3,400,000. Do you have any sales return? No. So this will be your final answer, right? And now you have to calculate your gross profit. Gross profit is sales minus your COGS. So COGS they have directly given to you as 2,70,000. So you just have to do your gross profit is equals to what? Sales, which is 3,400,000 minus 2,70,000. So your gross profit will be 1,330,000. Simple. And I hope you know the formula of COGS as well. This is very, very important. Opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock, right? Very famous formula of accounts. Now once you have your gross profit, then you have to go towards your operating income. Now over here you will take your operating expenses, which in this case is only depreciation. So from your gross profit of 1,330,000 you have to deduct your depreciation expenses, which is given to you directly 28,600. So your operating income or your earning before interest and taxes will be 71,730. Simple. Now comes your adjustment for interest and your taxes as well. Interest you have paid 1,000, so deduct 1,000. And tax also you have to give, which is 34% in this case. So if you deduct the interest and minus the tax expenses, your overall PAT expense, your overall net income overall net income will be 46,682. But you have also given 16,000 as dividend. So your answer will be what? 30,682. Roughly if you see, your answer will be approx 30,682. But you can take 30,000 as 681 also, because the tax rate over here is 34. So thoda bahut approximation you have to play. So the correct answer over here will be option number B. The question was simple, although it was thoda sa lengthy, because in PFRDA you have less time, right? So this will be considered as lengthy. Okay, now over here you have to first start from gross profit, then you have to reach to your net income or to your profit after tax PAT, right? And then you have to deduct your dividend, and now whatever money is left, this I will give to my retained earnings, right? So answer over here exactly will be 60,682, but we are taking as an approximation 30,681 is also correct. Okay, so correct answer is B. Now this completes our 2021 questions of commerce and accounts. Now let's move to 2022. An asset has a value of 10 lakh, current scrap value is 4 lakh, asset useful life is 3 years. What will be the depreciation charge if the company is using straight line? In straight line, the depreciation remains the same. The formula to calculate depreciation in a straight line is very easy. Your total asset value minus your scrap value divided by the useful life of that particular asset, right? So over here asset is of 10 lakh minus the scrap value. So 10 minus 4 is 6 lakh, right? 10 minus 4 is 6 lakh divided by the useful life 3. So your answer will be 2 lakh. Yes, so answer will be option number B in this case. Okay, very easy. I will not even consider this as moderate because you just need to remember one formula, put your values and answer will come. Next, from the following information, calculate the amount of debtors which you will show in the balance sheet. The total figure or the gross figure given to you is 3 lakh. But they have also given you provision for doubtful debtors. Doubtful debtors means what? That I think that they will not repay me. So I have to deduct this particular amount first. So if you do 5% of 3 lakh, it will be 15,000, right? 5% of 3 lakh. Yes, 15,000. So minus karo 15,000. So your net debtors will be 2,85,000 only. Your net debtors will be 2,85,000 जिससे आपको पैसा आने की उम्मीद है. But you are also giving a discount on this. You are also giving a discount, and discount is generally given on net debtors only. So आपको 2,85,000 का 2% और less करके whatever the number will come, that will be your answer. So if you see net debtors, we have done 2,85,000, but you also have to deduct the discount provision because we pay discount to the net debtors only. आप डिस्काउंट उसे ही दोगे ना जो आपको पैसा देने वाला है. यू विल नॉट गिव डिस्काउंट टू दोज पीपल हु आर नॉट पेइंग यू. सो इफ यू डू 2% of 2,85,000 minus 2,85,000, your answer will come around 2,79,300. Simple. So your answer will be option number D. Now I will put this under moderate category because over here you have to do some calculations. Moving forward to the next one. In the most general language, what is the minimum vesting? This is very easy. Come on guys, you can answer this under 10 seconds. The answer will be 1 year, and this is like very basic question which can save a lot of your time, and you can invest your time in some calculative questions which we have done before. So the correct answer over here will be 1 year. And what is vesting period? Vesting period basically means that employee will have to wait for this particular period of time. Like in this case, the minimum vesting period is 1 year. So after 1 year, he can sell those ESOP shares which he has got, but he has to wait for minimum 1 year. And generally, company decides that what is the total overall ESOP period which the employees have to wait for. Now, moving forward to the next one. Refer to the following financial information and calculate current ratio. Current ratio is what? Current assets divided by your current liabilities. So your first task is to identify the current asset. Fixed asset will not come under current. Cash will come, inventory will come. Share capital is a liability, but we will not take under current liability. Long term debt again we will not take. Trade payable we will take, other liabilities also we will take. So if you see in your numerator in which you have to take current assets, cash plus inventory will only come. So 5 plus 3 will be 8 lakh, right? Current liabilities are all those liabilities which you have to settle under less than 1 year. And current liabilities, only 2 items are there, which will be 4 lakh 40 plus 30. So it will be 4 lakh 70,000. Divide these two and your answer, if I am not wrong, will come around 1.7. 1.7. Okay, so your correct answer will be option number A. Simple. So what you have to do is you just have to identify the values and divide, right? Even I will not put this question under hard. This is a kind of a moderate question because you just have to identify the formula and put your answers. Next question. As per accounting standards, bank overdraft repayable on demand. Repayable on demand is the keyword, right? If you see, if bank overdraft is mentioned, there will be a separate treatment for that. But if they have mentioned bank overdraft repayable on demand, for that there will be a different statement. There will be a different treatment in cash flow statement. If you see, if I say just bank overdraft, If I say bank OD, this is my financing activity. But if I say bank overdraft repayable on demand, this will be considered as cash and cash equivalent because this is payable on demand. So there is a difference between bank OD and bank OD repayable on demand. So repayable on demand is like it can be converted into cash very quickly, so it will be considered under cash and cash equivalents. So your answer will be option number C. But if I remove repayable on demand from this question, then your answer will be financing, right? Bank borrowings, bank overdraft are generally considered as financing. However, as per IND AS 7, a special paragraph has been given related to bank overdrafts, which considered bank overdrafts repayable on demand as a part of cash and cash equivalents. So this is your theoretical knowledge. You are not becoming an accountant over here, right? So just remember these small points. Next, what will be the interest coverage ratio for a financial institution whose earning before taxes, whose earning before interest and taxes is 320 and interest liabilities is 120? अब इससे easy question क्या ही आएगा, right? If you have your EBIT also ready and your interest liability is also ready, you have to calculate interest coverage ratio. So you just have to do what? Interest divided by your EBIT. Interest over here is 120 divided by the total, I would say what? EBIT. It will be 320, right? So just do this particular formula by solving by yourself and your answer will come to you. Or rather, I think I have done one mistake. Interest coverage ratio is EBIT divided by interest. Yes, even I now recall it. It's EBIT divided by interest. So EBIT over here is 320,000 divided by 120. So your answer will be 2.66. Okay, just remove this particular calculation. And I again request you to remember all the formulas because formulas are very, very important. Okay, so interest coverage ratio is what? Your total earnings before interest and taxes divided by the interest. So it will be 2.66. And yes, please, I think I have one learning for all of you. Do not go overconfidence in exam because this question, when it came to me, I was very, very happy because this is very, very easy. We can do it very quickly. But you see, even I did a mistake. The correct answer will be 320 divided by 120. So your answer will be 2.66. So this is what your interest coverage ratio is. Interest coverage ratio basically tells you that in what good position you are to pay the interest for all your debt obligations. Moving forward, which of the following clearly defines impaired loss? Impaired loss is generally for your, I would say what, assets which you keep. And if you see, impaired loss is basically like your carrying amount for the asset become more than the recoverable amount, if I'm not wrong. Yes, now let's read the options. An impaired loss is the amount by which carrying amount of the asset exceeds its recoverable amount. Yes, this will be your right answer. Carrying amount is like you are carrying that particular asset, right? This is coming on your pocket. But if you see, if your carrying amount is more than the recoverable amount, then definitely your asset has become impaired. So you will have to either sell that asset or either you have to replace it. So the correct answer over here will be option number A. Okay, very easy. Moving forward to the costing questions now. So if you see in commerce and accounts, some questions are very, very easy. Some questions are moderate, and yes, some questions can be hard also. But generally the questions are easy to moderate level when it comes to the phase 1 level. Moving to costing. Now in costing, again you have to remember a lot of formulas specifically related to marginal costing. The selling price of the product is 100, PV ratio is 40%. Okay, so the selling price is 100, PV ratio is 40, fixed cost is 30,000. Calculate the break-even point. Now break-even point can be calculated in units. It can be calculated in value also. Over here you have to calculate it in units because the answers are given in units. So first, if PV ratio is given to me, what I can do is I can calculate my break-even sales first, because if I have to calculate my break-even point, I need to have my break-even sales, right? So break-even sales can be calculated as is equals to fixed cost divided by your PV ratio. Fixed cost is given to you directly in this case. What is the fixed cost? 30,000 divided by your PV ratio. So if you do this, your break-even sales will come out to be 75,000. Now once you have your break-even sales, then you can calculate your break-even point also. Break-even point is equals to what? Break-even sales divided by the selling price. So you have calculated your 75,000 as break-even sales divided by the selling price. Selling price in this case is 100 only. So if you do 750 units will be your break-even point. Now what is break-even point, by the way? Break-even point is basically that particular point wherein your company is having no profits and no loss. It's the situation of equilibrium. Okay, so if you have to calculate break even point in units, if you have to calculate break even points in units, then the formula is what? Break even sales divided by the selling price. But you don't have break even sales directly given to you in the question. So we calculate break even sales with the help of fixed cost divided by the PV ratio formula. So formulas are important, right? If you remember the formulas, then only the game will be easy for you. Next, if material cost variance is given to us as 24,000 in favorable, F means what? Favorable. 24,000 favorable. Material cost variance is given to you as 24,000 favorable. Material usage variance is given to you as 30,975, again favorable. Then calculate material price variance. Now again there is a direct formula for this. You just have to put the formula. Material cost variance is equal to material usage plus material price variance. Now if you see, you have to calculate material price variance. Material price variance आपको निकालना है. Material cost variance is directly given to you as 24,000 favorable. Material usage variance is again directly given to you as 30,975 favorable. So if you deduct 24,000 from 30,975, you will get a negative figure. Therefore, it is given material price variance is equal to 6,975 adverse. A stands for adverse. So your correct answer will be option number C. Now see, those who know these formulas, for them it's easy. But जिसको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, it basically means that your formulas are not clear to you. Okay. Moving forward to the next one. Total variable cost is the sum of what? Total variable cost is the sum of your direct expenses or your direct cost plus your variable overheads. So your answer will be option number E over here. Now variable cost will not include your fixed cost. So you can directly remove option number A. Right, you can also remove option number C. What is prime cost? What is fixed overheads? This will never be counted in your variable cost. Therefore, only your direct cost, which you directly associate to the cost of production, and once your production increases, your direct cost will also increase because this is variable in nature. Plus variable overheads will come under your total variable cost. So your answer will be option number E in this case. Okay. Moving forward to the next one. If sales are given to us as 25,000, PV ratio is given to us 40%, fixed cost is given to you as 20,000. Calculate profit and loss. Now what is PV ratio, by the way? PV ratio stands for what? Or you can just give me the formula. PV ratio is contribution by sales, right? Now if you apply this particular formula, you can get contribution because sales is given to you as 25,000. PV ratio is given to you as 40%. So your contribution, if you do this, your contribution will be roughly around what? Your contribution will be roughly around 10,000. Right? Contribution aa gaya. Contribution is also sales minus variable cost. Okay, I hope you know about it. So your contribution is 10,000. But if you see, your fixed cost is 20,000. Contribution is 10,000, which is less than the fixed cost. So it's a loss of 10,000. It's the loss of 10,000. Therefore, your answer will be option number B. Why? Because contribution आपका 10,000 पे stagnant हो चुका है. Now if you see over here, your, I would say, fixed costs, which will definitely be above in this case, so definitely you have to pay more, right? So your overall loss of 10,000 is bound to happen. Okay, once your contribution crosses your fixed cost, then definitely profits will happen, but in this case contribution is very less than the fixed cost, so answer will be loss of 10,000. Moving forward to 2022 questions now. Contract costing is specialized type of costing used in which of the following business domains? Now we all know this is very theoretical. Contract costing is used in long-term contracts, which is the case in the real estate. Theoretical knowledge, answer will be option number C over here. Okay. Next question. Costing is the system of assigning cost to the element of a business. In the same regard, dash is the change in the total cost when the quantity produced is incremented by 1. Even a student who is in 12th class, who have done just basic of economics or basics of costing can answer it. The answer will be option number D, marginal costing. Increment by 1. So it's like 1 unit में कितना फर्क पड़ेगा, that is always taught to you by marginal costing. So this is again very easy for me. Okay. Next, now this is from your lean system and innovation. 5S methodology has gained importance through the years and is now one of the basic foundational elements of lean system, along with other lean processes and practices. In the same regard, which of the following is not the component of 5S methodology? Sort, set in order, shine, or standardize, or sincerity. Shikutsu or sincerity is not the part of it, because if you see, you have sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain, not your sincerity. Okay, so the correct answer over here will be option number B. Now see, I have nothing to explain over here, because if you know what 5S framework is, you can attempt this question very easily. Next question. Calculate break even point. Now over here you can see that we are not calculating it in units, right? Calculate break even point from the following given information. Now if you see, we are rather calculating in units only. Break even points from the following given information. Fixed cost is equals to 35,000, selling price is 37.5, variable cost is 17.5. Now if you see and the given information, you have to apply a formula again. Break even point is equals to what? Fixed cost divided by the sales price per unit divided by the variables price per unit. Now previously I was thinking that this particular price was given to you as value, right? But now they have clearly mentioned that this is per unit. This is per unit. So you have to get your break even points in unit only. So apply the formula. Fixed cost is given to you as total of 35 lakhs over here, but they have given selling price and variable cost in units. So you have to apply the formula, which is fixed cost divided by sales price per unit minus variable cost per unit. So your answer will come around 1,75,000. Okay, and this is coming again in units. This is coming again in units. I hope you are getting clarity over here. अगर सारी चीजें values में देता, जैसे यहाँ पे fixed cost भी आपको value में दे रखा है, and all the other things are given to you in value, then yes, you can get your answer in value. But over here they are giving you in units, 37.5 per unit. So therefore your answer will come under units only. Okay, so this is how you calculate your break even points, and we have earlier also done this particular calculation in the year 2021 also. So this completes, this basically give you a complete analysis that there will be a good question in 2025 also, in which you have to calculate the break even point. Okay, so the break even point in units will be what? Fixed cost divided by the sales price per unit minus variable cost per unit. Once you do this calculation, your answer will come as 1,75,000. Okay, moving forward to the next question. Lean manufacturing is the production aim primarily at reducing times when the production system as well as response time from supplier to customer. In the same regard, which of the following statement is incorrect? Now see, read the statements, and I will start with the statement number A. Lean manufacturing is the production method aimed at primarily reducing times within the production system as well as response system from the supplier to customer. This looks correct to me. Lean system is the production process based on the ideology of maximizing productivity. Yes, minimizing waste, again looks correct to me. Lean principle sees waste as anything that doesn't add value. Again, this is correct. Lean is a push. No, it's a pull system. It's a pull system. Why it's a pull system, my friends? Because whenever demand is there, you will definitely set your production cycle. So it's like a pull system, not push. So therefore statement number D is incorrect over here, and your answer will be D only, because over here you have to identify the incorrect statement only. Right. Moving forward to the next one. DMADV is a Six Sigma framework that focuses on quality and new product and services. In the same regard, which of the following is not the part of DMAVDV? Diagnosis. Option number C is not the part of your, I would say, what, DMADV. Now if you see, D stands for define, M stands for measure, A stands for analysis, D again come for your design, V stands for verify. So this is the like short form for DMADV, which comes under Six Sigma, which is again a kind of a technique which you use for quality, right? Diagnosis is not the part of DMADV. Moving forward to again one question of 2022 costing. SIPOC is a tool that summarizes the input and outputs of one or more processes in the table form. It is used to define business processes from beginning to the end. Now if you don't know what SIPOC stands, you cannot answer it. SIPOC generally stands for what? Suppliers, input, processes, outputs, and customers. So if you see, option number A is eliminated because it talk about products. So if you see, option number B is also eliminated because it talks about services, but we have to start from suppliers. So either answer will be C, D, or E. C stands for suppliers, or rather I should say in C, S stands for supplier. Then yes, you have your input, you have your process also, but outcast is given, so it will not be your right answer, because O stands for what? O stands for output. So either your answer will be what? D or E. So if you see, I think option number D makes sense. S for suppliers, I for input, then you have processes, then you have outputs, and then your customers. So the right answer in this case will be option number D. E is also eliminated because over here C is given as campus, but C stands for customer in that case. So your right answer will be D. And what does SIPOC stands for you? Supplier ne, you get the goods. Supplier means what? You get the goods, then you convert them into your input, then the process will start, then your output, your final goods will produce, which will be given to the customers. So this is what SIPOC is. Moving forward to the next one. In the field of costing management, which of the following is a wasting control techniques meaning for continuous improvement? So if you are looking for continuous improvement, definitely the answer will be Kaizen. Okay, Kaizen, continuous improvement is the key term. Six Sigma is basically for your quality, you can say that. Total productivity management is for your production. Just in time is like you reduce your ordering time and the final delivery to the customer. Kaizen is basically looking for your continuous improvement, so your answer will be option number C. Moving forward to Companies Act now. So costing, we can see that if your formulas are clear, specifically for PV ratio and for your break-even sales, then I think you are well sorted. So marginal costing chapter is very, very important for all of you. Now moving to Companies Act. Companies Act is pure theoretical. So I will put the question. The declaration of dividend has been provided in section of dash of the Companies Act 2013. So what will be your answer in this case? The declaration of dividend has been provided in section dash of the Companies Act 2013. Yes, the correct answer in this case will be option number A, which is section 123. Now there is nothing to teach over here, right? If you know the answer, you mark it, otherwise you move ahead. The issue of duplicate share certificate has been provided for in which section of Companies Act 2013? So the issue of duplicate share certificate will come under which particular section? Yes, this time also I think the right answer will be option number A only, which is section 46 subsection 2. Okay, moving forward to the next one. The removal of director has been provided under which section? So you see sections which are directly given in your Companies Act is very, very important for you. In this case, the right answer will be section number 169. We all know this section because section 169 is used for removal of director from the company. Next, section dash of Companies Act provides you the constitution of National Company Law Tribunal. Again, a very famous, one of the famous section of Companies Act, section 408, which provides the constitution of National Company Law Tribunal. Next question. Section dash of the Companies Act provides for the alteration of memorandum of articles to be noted in every copy. Again, very famous article of Companies Act goes with the section of 15. Section 15 of the Companies Act provides alteration in memorandum or articles of the company to be noted in every copy. So your answer will be section number 50. Now I have nothing to teach over here because this is theoretical knowledge. Okay. Next, dash section of Companies Act provides the registration of non-profit companies. ये तो सबको ही पता होना चाहिए. This is even section number 8, right? So your answer will be again option number A. Moving forward to the next one. Any amount payable by the member of the company, any amount payable to the member of the company will be due to whom? A company is an artificial person, right? Any amount payable by a member of the company will be due to the company itself. So your answer will be C only. Why the other members or independent and non-executive members will be looped in this particular situation? When a company is an artificial person, so the amount payable by the member of the company, amount payable by the member to the company will be due to the company itself. Okay. Next question. What is the max? ये आपको करके जाना because this comes every now and then. What is the maximum number of directors that can be appointed in the public company? So your answer will be 10 over here, right? Your answer will be 10, option number A. Moving forward to the last few set of question of 2022. As per section 44 Companies Act 2013, the shares and debentures belonging to the member of the company should be movable property, transferable in the manner provided by what? Transferable provided by the articles of association. Okay, which is your option number D. This is again very, very important, which you should all remember for Companies Act. Moving forward to the next one. As per Companies Act 2013, the red herring prospectus has to be filled before the registrar of company at least how many days before the open issue. Now, please let me know your answer. If I'm not wrong, the correct answer will be option number 3, which is 3 days only, which is option number C. Very easy. As per Companies Act 2030, in the case of public companies, what should be the maximum time? Maximum ties between two consecutive. If I'm not wrong, the answer should be 120 days. Let's check. Yes, I was correct. So answer will be 120 days only. So this is the maximum time between the two consecutive meetings of the board of the companies, of public companies, I mean. Okay. Next, Companies Act 2013. How many independent directors should be there in the listed company? This is also very famous. Again, the answer will be option number A, which is at least 1/3 of the total directors. So if you see in Companies Act, my friend, if you know the answer, you can mark it. Otherwise, in some cases, you don't know the answer, so you have to move ahead. So we have completed all the questions now, my friend. So till now, if you see, we have completed management, commerce and accounts, costing and companies act. Now you will see Jaskaran sir and Kritika ma'am. They will take your lessons for finance and pension and economics as well. So let's move to Jaskaran sir now.
Now let us move on to the next component, which is finance, and over here we are going to see PYQs with respect to phase 1 paper 2 for the year 2022, and afterwards we will see the questions regarding 2021 also one by one. And my suggestion is that while I'm reading the question, please pause the video and mark your own answer, and afterwards you can resume the video and then you can see that whether you had marked the correct answer or not, right? So this is going to help you. Now first of all, let us move on to question number 1. It says, which of the following mechanism is used to bring price stability in the share price during the initial public offer? Option A, circuit breakers. Option B, whitewashing. Option C, green shoe option. Option D, underwriting, and option E is none of the above. So with respect to this question, C is going to be the correct answer. Why is it so? Because when we talk about green shoe option, we know that it is a public offer that is used by the companies in order to provide stability to in order provide stability to the price of the share in the secondary market and immediately on listing, right? And the thing is that another piece of information that you need to remember, that a company which opts for green shoe option, it can allot additional shares not exceeding then 15% of the issue size. This is also a very significant information that you need to know regarding this green shoe option, right? So this is going to be the answer because that is the main objective, which is nothing but the price stability with respect to the share price, right? Now let us move on to question number 2, which is regarding the regulation with respect to unlisted companies. So the question says that which of the following bodies regulates the unlisted companies working in the corporate sector of India? Now we know that if we talk about listed companies, they are regulated by SEBI, but when we talk about unlisted ones with respect to corporate sector, then it is going to be Ministry of Corporate Affairs. I would say very straightforward question, and the explanation you can basically read from here because everything is factual about it. You just need to know the answer. Either you know or you do not know, right? So that is the idea. So C is going to be the answer with respect to the question. Now let us move on to question number 3, which is regarding gyro transfer. So the question says that a bank gyro transfer is a method. So firstly it is defining that what do we mean by gyro transfer. Let us see what question asks in the next line. It says a bank gyro transfer is a method of transferring money by instructing a bank to directly transfer funds from one bank account to another without the use of physical checks, right? In the same regard, if you talk about DBT, which is direct benefit transfer in a gyro system, wherein the government transfers dash to the beneficiary. So what does the government transfer as a part of direct benefit system? We know that as a part of the direct benefit transfer system, the government transfer what? It transfers basically subsidy, right? So basically what happens, the government transfers subsidies through your basically bank account, and it is mandatory that your bank account should also be linked to your Aadhaar number. So that is the idea. And why the government has opted for the direct benefit transfer? The reason being that basically in order to avoid the leakage, or you can say in a very simple words, the corruption. In order to prevent leakage or corruption, the government has adopted this direct benefit transfer so that subsidy can be transferred to the marginalized section of the society through their bank account that is linked to their Aadhaar card, right? So basically with respect to this question, D is going to be the answer. Now let us move on to the next question, which is question number 4, and it says that from the following options identify the act which is associated with the act of playing safe and exporters want to reduce the risk of loss. Fine. So exporters want to reduce the risk of loss. This I would say this risk basically is very important. Risk of loss, this is the main keyword through which you can reach the right answer, right? Occurring from the asset. So if you talk about option A, it is speculation, option B arbitrators, option C hedging, option D market makers, and option E none of the above. So very easy to understand, since the question is about risk aversion strategy, right, with respect to exporters and other type of assets, right? So the answer is going to be hedging. Because when we talk about hedging, basically hedgers are the one who are worried about future price movements, and what they do, they want to lock in, the price at the current date only, right? So they basically adopt different type of risk aversion strategies as a part of their assets that they are holding, right? So C is going to be the answer with respect to the question. I hope you know about speculation also, and you know about arbitrators also. Very simple concepts with respect to finance. For example, if you talk about speculators, what they do, they basically speculate that whether the price of the asset is going to increase or it is going to get decreased. Based on that, they speculate, and on the basis of this speculation, what they do, they basically earn profits. So it is not going to be the answer, because the question is about the risk aversion strategy, right? It is related to risk aversion. So basically C is going to be the answer regarding this question, which is hedging, right? So let us move on to question number 5, which is Bank of India has opened a USD account with Citibank in the USA. From Bank of Baroda's perspective, if it refers to the account that Bank of India holds with Citibank, the account will be classified as what? Is it going to be Nostro, B Vostro, C Loro, D both A and C, E none of the above? Now in order to reach the answer, we need to know that what these different accounts mean. So first of all, if we talk about Nostro account, in a very simple manner, you can remember it as our account with you. जिसका क्या मतलब हुआ? जिसका मतलब हुआ कि हमारा अकाउंट आपके पास. For example, let us try to understand it in this manner. What happens in case of Nostro account is that basically these accounts are held in, please understand, these accounts are held in foreign currency, or I should say foreign country, right? By whom? By the domestic bank. So let me rephrase it. So basically Nostro accounts are generally held in foreign country, in a foreign bank, by a domestic bank, right? So that is how basically it works, and it is maintained in the foreign currency also. So that is what Nostro account means, which means our account with you. If we talk about Vostro account means that your account with us. Now how do we understand that? Vostro account, basically they are generally held by whom? They are held by the foreign bank. Nostro accounts was held by domestic bank. Vostro account is held by the foreign bank, right? In whose country? In our country, which means the domestic country, whatever it is, which is let us say in our example it can be India. So it is held by a foreign bank in our country with whom? With the domestic bank, right? And it is going to be maintained in domestic currency only, which in our example can be Indian rupee, right? So that is about Vostro account. If we talk about Loro account, now this is very interesting. In case of Loro account, a third bank is going to be involved, right? So it is generally held by whom? It is held by a third party bank. Let us say for the example, for example, let us say we have Bank of India account, right? So Bank of India account, let us say they want to transact with HSBC. But with HSBC, they do not have any kind of direct account. So what they can do, let us say there is a third bank, for example, SBI, right? Now SBI has an account with HSBC. So what Bank of India can do? Bank of India can use SBI account in order to make this transaction successful. So the similar kind of scenario is happening over here also. So if you talk about the answer to this question is going to be C1, which is nothing but the Loro account. I hope it is clear to you. You can remember it simply in this manner. Nostro account means our account with you. Vostro account means your account with us. Loro account basically means their account with them, because basically over here a third party bank is involved as a part of the transaction. So C is going to be the answer with respect to this question. Now let us move on to the next question, which is question number 6. It says that in August 2022, SEBI has allowed AIFs, which is alternate investment funds, to invest in. Basically question की language थोड़ी गलत होगी, तो ये थोड़ा काट दो. So they are allowed to invest in which of the following? Option A, manufacturing companies. Option B, index funds. C, overseas companies. D, प्राइवेट एंड कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड्स. एंड ई, म्यूचुअल फंड यूनिट्स. अब इसमें कुछ ज्यादा समझने वाला नहीं है ये, क्योंकि करंट अफेयर का क्वेश्चन था एंड 2022 में ही ये पेपर में आया था, क्योंकि 2022 की न्यूज है ये. सो द आंसर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस वन इज गोइंग टू बी द सी ऑप्शन, विच इज ओवरसीज कंपनीज. राइट, यू कैन रीड द एक्सप्लेनेशन फ्रॉम हियर. Now let us move on to the next question, which is question number 7. Very easy to answer from inflation. So it says which of the following is not the component of core inflation. Now if you talk about basically core inflation, we know that core inflation basically refers to headline inflation minus the volatile items, or you can say volatile products and services. For example, it can be with respect to petrol. Fine, you can say the energy related services that are there, the energy related products that are there, for example petrol, fuel, also sort of things. It can include the fuel also, the food also, right? So food is also something the price of which is very much volatile, so that is why it is basically subtracted from the headline inflation, and through that we get core inflation with respect to what? With respect to primarily the non-volatile products, the non-volatile goods and services that are there in the market, right? So by excluding the volatile items from the headline inflation, we get the core inflation. So if you talk about the options, option A is clothing prices, option B vehicle prices, option C housing prices, and option D, as we say, that food prices and fuel prices. As I told you that this is something that is volatile in nature, so it is not there as a part of the core inflation. So D is going to be the answer to this question. Now let us move on to the next question, which is question number 8. It says the corporate debt market is regulated by option A RBI, option B NABARD, option C SEBI, option D PFRDA, option E SIDBI. If we talk about government debt market, we know that it is regulated by RBI, right? But if we talk about corporate debt market, we know that it is regulated by one and only SEBI, right? So C is going to be the answer with respect to this question. Now question number 9. The tax structure phenomena under the GST, under which GST paid on output product is lower than the taxes on input, is known as what? So very easy to answer, नाम से पता चल रहा है, it is going to be A option, which is inverted duty structure. Now in general scenario, what happens is that if you talk about GST is higher on finished products as compared to the raw material. Fine, I'm using a very loose language. So as compared to raw material, the GST on the finished product that is applicable on the finished product is higher. But in the inverted duty structure, what happens is that this scenario gets reversed. So in this scenario, the GST that is going to be on the raw material is going to be higher than basically the finished prices, right? So here raw material is what? It is basically, I would say, the input that is we are using. If you talk about I would say the finished product is nothing, it is the output, or you can say the final product that is there as a part of the supply chain. So this scenario happens in case of what? It happens in case of inverted duty structure. So A is going to be the answer regarding this question. Now let us move on to question number 10th. It says in FRBM Act the clause that states that the government can deviate from its annual fiscal deficit targets in situation of calamity and national security is the, so very easy to answer, the answer is going to be the C option, which is escape clause. We know that escape clause is basically there mentioned as a part of, I would say, FRBM Act. And what does the escape clause do? Basically, escape clause provides the provision to the government, or you should say escape clause in a very simple manner. It provides a flexibility to the government that it can deviate from its fiscal deficit targets. And under what circumstances it can deviate from its fiscal deficit target? Under circumstances, for example, the national security, for example, the national calamity, right? In case of war, for example, if the COVID like situation happens in the country. So what is the priority of the government? The priority of the government is not to save the money and not to primarily focus on the fiscal deficit target. The priority of the government is to reach its social objectives, right? So that basically it can promote welfareism as a part of the public, right? So that is the primary priority. So government ऐसा नहीं करेगी कि लोगों को ऑक्सीजन सिलेंडर प्रोवाइड करने और गवर्नमेंट बोले नहीं मैं नहीं प्रोवाइड करूंगी, मेरा फिस्कल डेफिसिट बढ़ रहा है. That is not something the government is going to do. So under such kind of extreme circumstances, escape clause comes into action, and it says that the government has all the flexibility basically to deviate from this fiscal deficit target. This is what it presents, and C is going to be the answer with respect to this question. Now moving on to question number 11. Default risk in case of government securities is dash. So option A, higher in the equity market, higher than the equity market. Option B, higher than commodity market. Option C, higher than corporate debt, option D 0, option E none of the above. So if you talk about government securities, which means basically G6, so basically over here the default risk is considered what? It is considered, we know it is considered as zero. Why? Because they are backed by the sovereign. They are backed by the government of India, and we are in the assumption that by when we say that it is zero, we are assuming that basically the government of India is not going to get default. If you have invested in government of India assets, that at any point, then at any point of time you are going to get the returns. So that is why we say that the default risk that is there in case of government of India securities, it is zero. So they are, I would say, the safest assets as far as the investments are concerned, right? So I would say D is going to be the answer to this question. Now we are done with, I would say, the finance part, and now let us move on to the next portion, which is basically the pensions. So regarding pension, first of all we are going to cover questions for phase 1 paper 2 for the year 2021, and after that we are going to see the 2022 questions also, right? This is something that we are going to do one by one. So the first question is anyone between the age of dash and dash years may open an NPS account. Now we know that the questions that are asked from the pension sector, let me tell you that they are very factual in nature. तो इसमें जो आपको थोड़ी मेमोराइजेशन है वो थोड़ी ज़्यादा करनी पड़ेगी. फाइन, यू विल हैव टू फोकस अपॉन रोट लर्निंग ऑल्सो, बिकॉज क्वेश्चन यहाँ से उसी नेचर के पूछे जाते हैं, तो आप रोट लर्निंग से भाग नहीं सकते. नो डाउट कि स्कीम अंडरस्टैंड करनी पड़ेगी, दैट व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ रिटायरमेंट स्कीम्स, पेंशन स्कीम्स, ऑल्सो सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग्स. बट नंबर्स पे आपको बहुत फोकस करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज वहां से बहुत क्वेश्चन आते हैं. अब देखो यहाँ से डायरेक्ट जैसे एज का क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया है. सो ऑप्शन ए इज 18 and 65, option B 18 and 70, option C 18 and 75, option D 18 and 60, and option E is none of the above. So the correct answer is going to be the B answer, which is, I would say, 18 and 70, because when we talk about, I would say, NPS, anyone between the age of 18 and 70, what they can do, they can open an NPS account, right? And what they can do, they can start saving till retirement. So that is going to be the answer, which is option number B. Now if we talk about the next question, which is question number 2, under Atal Pension Yojana, a subscriber will need to pay contribution for a minimum period of dash years. अब फिर से देख लो जो क्वेश्चन पूछा PYQ में क्या है, वो बहुत ही फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन है और आपको नंबर्स इसलिए याद रखने पड़ेंगे, राइट? सो व्हाई, एंड प्लीज डू इट एंड प्लीज डू नॉट इग्नोर इट, बिकॉज पेंशन में से ठीक ठाक क्वेश्चन आते हैं, राइट? आप आई वुड से 7 से 8 क्वेश्चन आराम से एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हो पेंशन से, और बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कंपोनेंट है, तो प्लीज डू नॉट इग्नोर इट. सो थिंग इज दैट अंडर अटल पेंशन योजना, सब्सक्राइबर विल नीड टू पे कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन फॉर अ मिनिमम नंबर ऑफ डैश ईयर्स फॉर योर पेंशन टू स्टार्ट. सो ऑप्शन ए is 5 years, option B is 10 years, option C is 15 years, option D 25 years, and option E is 20 years. So E is going to be the correct answer with respect to this question, because the minimum time duration for contribution under APY scheme is 20 years only, right? So APY subscribers, they can make contribution to the pension monthly, quarterly, half yearly also, and I would say monthly, quarterly, or half yearly, and the minimum amount that has to be paid as a part of this pension is basically fixed at rupees 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, and rupees 5000 per month. And for and what is the minimum period? Basically, if you want your pension to get started, it is basically option E, which is 20 years, right? Now let us move on to the next question, which is question number 3. Now question number 3 says that the government of India had in the year dash commissioned a national project called Oasis to examine policy related to old age income security in India. So option A is 1999, option B 2000, option C is 1991, ऑप्शन डी इज 2003 एंड ऑप्शन ए इज नन ऑफ द अबव. अब अगेन फिर से फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन आ गया है, तो आपको ईयर्स पे भी फोकस करना पड़ेगा. इसका मतलब ये आपको कुछ जो इंपॉर्टेंट स्कीम्स हैं उनकी जो ईयर्स है, आपको उसका हिस्टोरिकल पर्सपेक्टिव पता होना चाहिए कि यार कौन सी स्कीम को, कौन सी रिटायरमेंट स्कीम को किस कमेटी की रिकमेंडेशन पे लाया गया था. सो दिस टाइप ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन ऑल्सो यू हैव टू फोकस अपॉन. सो एनीवेज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस क्वेश्चन द आंसर इज गोइंग टू बी 1999. वेरी फैक्चुअल इन्फॉर्मेशन, राइट? सो ए दैट इज 1999 is going to be the answer with respect to this question. Now question number 4. Under EPS scheme, once the member has met the required conditions, the amount of pensionable salary will be calculated based on the average of last drawn dash month salary. So option A is going to be 10, option B 20, option C 60, option D 50, and option E none of the above. So with respect to this question, the correct answer is going to be the C option, which is basically 60 years. So basically when we talk about EPS, right? So first of all, very importantly, you need to know the formula of EPS. So when we talk about formula of EPS, basically it is pensionable salary into pensionable service divided by 70, right? Divided by 70. So this is the formula of EPS. Now if you talk about pensionable service out of this formula, now pensionable service means that for how number of years for which the contributions that you had made with respect to the EPS account as a part of a service, right? And if you talk about pensionable salary, this refers to the average of the average of the last drawn 60 months salary, right? And this is something that has been asked in the question, that it is based on the average of last drawn dash month of salary. So answer is going to be the 60. So फॉर्मूले की आपको थोड़ी क्लैरिटी होनी चाहिए और पेंशन सैलरी और पेंशन सर्विस के बारे में पता होना चाहिए, राइट? नाउ लेट अस मूव ऑन टू द क्वेश्चन नंबर 5. Question number 5 is EPF pension, which is technically known as employees pension scheme, which is EPS, is a social security provided by dash. A is EPFO, B is NPS trust, C is RBI, D is SEBI, and E is PFRDA. So very easy question. It is basically asking that the scheme is basically maintained by which of the following, right? So if you talk about EPS scheme is basically provided by EPFO, right? It is provided by EPFO. Please do not get confused between NPS trust. तो ये तो ऑप्शन हो नहीं सकते, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा आप A और B में I would say कहीं ना कहीं कंफ्यूज होंगे, राइट? सो दिस ईपीएस पेंशन विच इज नोन एज एम्प्लॉयज पेंशन स्कीम, इट इज बेसिकली प्रोवाइडेड बाय एम्प्लॉय प्रोविडेंट फंड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. फाइन. सो ए इज गोइंग टू बी द आंसर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द क्वेश्चन, एंड आई होप यू नो अबाउट दिस स्कीम, दैट दिस स्कीम बेसिकली एम्स to provide the provisions with respect to employees who are working who are working in the organized sector. Fine. Who are working in the organized sector, and basically it provides pension after retirement at the age of how many years? After the age of 58 years. So that is the idea with respect to EPF scheme, and for this question A is going to be the correct answer. Now moving on to the question number 6, which says under Pradhan Mantri Vay Vandana Yojana, loan of up to dash of the purchase price can be availed after 3 years in order to cover emergency. So how much loan is there? Basically loan of up to what percentage of purchase price? A 75%, B 25%, C 50%, D 100%, and E none of the above. So answer with respect to this question is going to be the A option, which is 75%. Fine. So after completing 3 policy years, the individual can avail loan against a Pradhan Mantri Vay Vandana Yojana investment. And pensioners, what the pensioners can do, they can borrow a maximum of 75% of the purchase amount in the form of loan. Fine. So A is going to be the answer regarding this Vay Vandana Yojana. Now let us move on to question number 7, which says that dash is a government scheme meant for old age protection and social security for unorganized workers. Now the most important keyword I would say here is basically, first of all, it is for the old age protection and it is for the unorganized workers. So what is going to be the answer? It is going to be Shram Yogi Mandan Yojana, right? Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandan Yojana, that is going to be, I would say, the answer with respect to this question. और आप यहाँ देख भी सकते हैं कि it is for the श्रम का मतलब क्या होता है? लेबरर्स, राइट? लेबरर्स होता है. एंड मानधन मतलब धन for the elderly, right? So that is why it is going to be the answer. So A is going to be the answer with respect to this question, because this scheme is for the old age protection and social security for those who are involved in the unorganized sector, right? And what is the age? The age is basically 18 to 40 years, and in which they will have to make basically monthly contribution from the range of rupees 55 to rupees 200 per month till the age of 60, right? So that is what happens in case of Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandan Yojana. So A is going to be the answer for question number 7. Now let us move on to question number 8. Question 8 says that the maturity period of under the senior citizen savings scheme is dash years. However, individuals can extend the maturity duration for dash years by submitting an application in the required format within 1 year of maturity of the account. So again a factual information has been asked, तो इसीलिए मैंने आपसे कहा कि अभी तक जितने भी क्वेश्चन देखे आपने, मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द क्वेश्चन में फैक्चुअल इन्फॉर्मेशन पूछे गए हैं, तो यानी कि रोट लर्निंग करनी पड़ेगी, ठीक है? उससे भाग नहीं सकते. स्कीम को समझना तो इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसके ऑब्जेक्टिव को समझना इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसके मिनिस्ट्री को समझना इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसके बेनिफिशियरीज को समझना इंपॉर्टेंट है, नो डाउट रिगार्डिंग दैट. बट आपको नंबर्स याद करने पड़ेंगे कि क्या एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया है, विड्रॉल कब कर सकते हैं, कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन कितना करना है, कितने नंबर ऑफ ईयर्स के लिए है, राइट? सो ऑल सच थिंग्स यू हैव टू रिमेंबर. और मेरा तो ये सजेशन रहेगा कि यार आप हर स्कीम के लिए ना एक टेबल बना लो, ऐसे एक टेबल बना लो, चाहे तो एवर नोट में कहीं ऑनलाइन बना लो या फिर पेन एंड पेपर यूज करके एक टेबल बना लो। उस टेबल में क्या करो, यहाँ पर एक ही पेज पे सारी चीजें लिख दो स्कीम से रिलेटेड। या फिर आप क्या कर सकते हो, मल्टीपल स्कीम्स को एक टेबल में लिख सकते हो, जैसे कि स्कीम ए लिख दी, अब उसके बारे में क्या एलिजिबिलिटी है, एक्स वाई जेड सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग्स, फिर स्कीम बी लिख दी, फिर स्कीम सी लिख दी और स्कीम डी लिख दी। उसके बाद आप क्या कर सकते हो, जब सारी स्कीम्स एक ही पेज में आपके पास होंगी तो आपको रिटेंशन में थोड़ी हेल्प मिलेगी और साथ ही साथ आप कंपैरेटिव वे में याद कर सकते हो, उससे आपको ज्यादा आसानी से मेमोराइज होगा। नाउ दिस इज जस्ट अ सजेशन फ्रॉम माय एंड, अगर आप कुछ और कर रहे हो जो आपके लिए ज्यादा हेल्पफुल है तो आप ऑफ कोर्स उसे कंटिन्यू कर सकते हो, बट दिस इज जस्ट अ स्मॉल सजेशन फ्रॉम माय एंड एंड आई थिंक इट इज गोइंग टू हेल्प यू, राइट। सो इसका आंसर अगर देखिए क्वेश्चन 8 का आंसर होगा आई वुड से 5 and 3, right? So basically the maturity period under the senior citizen savings scheme is basically 5 years, but the individuals, they can extend the maturity duration for 3 years. Basically what they have to do, they will have to submit the application and in the required format within 1 year of the maturity of the account, ठीक है, तो 3 years तक आप उसे extend कर सकते हो. So that is the idea. So now let us move on to question number 9, and let me tell you that now we are starting with 2022 क्वेश्चंस। 2021 के क्वेश्चंस खत्म हो गए पेंशन सेक्टर के, अब 2022 के देख रहे हैं। सो क्वेश्चन सेज विद द डिजिटाइजेशन ऑफ द पेंशन सेक्टर, द प्रोसेसिंग टाइम फॉर द एनपीएस टू ट्रांसफर एंड रिमिट फंड्स टू द ट्रस्टी बैंक इज डन ऑन द फॉलोइंग बेसिस: T+2, T+1, 4, 3, 5. So you need to know that what is the criteria. So it is basically T+1. So T+1 है basically, इतना ही टाइम लगता है अगर आप एनपीएस को ट्रांसफर कर रहे हो, राइट, एंड इन ऑर्डर टू रिमिट द फंड्स बेसिकली to the trustee bank. So T+1 is the idea with respect to this question. Now question number 10, which of the following persons are not eligible? Question says which are not eligible to apply for the national pension scheme. Option A, NRI. Option B, resident of India. Option C, overseas, right? So option C is going to be overseas. Option D, partial resident of India. And option E, persons of Indian or a person of Indian origin. So with respect to this question, the correct answer is going to be basically the E option, which is person of Indian origin. Why is it so? Because when we talk about the eligibility of national pension scheme, it clearly says that the person has to be the citizen of India. इंडियन सिटीजन होना चाहिए, ये तो इसका सबसे पहला क्राइटेरिया। तो जो पर्सन ऑफ इंडियन सिटीजन है बेसिकली दे डू नॉट हैव, आई वुड से, द सिटीजनशिप, दे हैव लॉस्ट द सिटीजनशिप। बाकी हम बाकियों की बात करें, अगर एनआरआई की बात करें, एनआरआई रेजिडेंट नहीं है, बस सिटीजनशिप है। एंड रेजिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया अगेन, वो तो उसके बाद तो सिटीजनशिप हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी है। अब ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि जो रेजिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया वो कोई फॉरेन रेजिडेंट हो, बट अगेन अगर आप इन दोनों ऑप्शंस में कंफ्यूज हो रहे हो तो आपको बेस्ट आंसर चूज करने की जरूरत है, दैट इज द मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट ऑप्शन। अब इसका भी स्कोप ऑफ है कि ये गलत हो सकता है, क्या पता है क्वेश्चन के कहने का मतलब हो कि कोई फॉरेन सिटीजन है जो इंडिया में रेजिडेंट है, बट अगेन आपको बाकी ऑप्शंस पढ़ने हैं और आपको देखने की कौन सा मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट ऑप्शन है, क्योंकि एग्जाम में हो गया ऐसा बार कि दो ऑप्शन सही लगेंगे, बट आपको ये देखना है कि सबसे मोस्ट अप्रोप्रिएट ऑप्शन कौन सा है। तो अगर आप देखो पर्सन ऑफ इंडियन origin, so he is somebody who does not have the citizenship anymore, so basically he is going to be the answer with respect to the question, because in order to be eligible for NPS, first of all you need to be an Indian citizen, right? So that is the idea. I hope it is pretty much clear to all of you. Now let us move on to question number 11, which says pension fund managers can invest in the collected amount in a variety of asset categories. However, under NPS, pension fund managers cannot invest the collected amount in which of the following asset class? Option A, debt. Option B, equity. Option C, ULIP, which means basically unit linked insurance policies. Option D, corporate debt or bonds. Option E, none of the above. So with respect to this question, the correct answer is going to be C option, which is ULIP. Now ULIP basically it is insurance cum investment assets, and basically they are regulated by IRDI. The point is that if you talk about ULIP and if you talk about the transparency, that is with them, if we talk about their risk nature, if we talk about very importantly their cost structure, that does not fit the objective of NPS, right? So that is why basically the pension fund manager, they are not allowed to invest the amount in these asset classes, right? So that is why C is going to be the answer with respect to this question. Now let us move on to question number 12, which says under Atal Pension Yojana, an unmarried subscriber has to nominate which of the following person as nominee: A, brother, B, mother, C, father, D, sister, and E, any of the above. Now since the question is about unmarried subscriber, the answer is going to be E, which is any of the above, right? So E is going to be the answer. But let us say if we are talking about the married subscriber, now with respect to married subscriber, the spouse of the subscriber, the spouse of the subscriber will be the default nominee. Fine. And the spouse detail needs to be provided. Let us say the person is unmarried. Now after that, when the same person get married, then also he will have to provide all the details with respect to spouse, right? So this is something that you have to remember, that an unmarried person can choose any of these as a part of its nominee, but when it comes to married subscriber, then for that person spouse is going to be the default nominee, right? So that is why with respect to this question, E is going to be the answer. Now question number 13, if a subscriber wants to opt for upgradation of pension contribution under Atal Pension Yojana, then the subscriber has to pay a differential amount of contribution at what rate? Option A 0% on monthly compounding basis, option B 8%, C 9%, option C 1.5%, option E none of the above. Now with respect to this question, the correct answer is going to be the B option, which is 8% on monthly compounding basis. Basically, when we talk about upgradation, fine, there can be two scenarios. The first is upgradation, and the second is basically downgradation. When we talk about upgradation, fine, so for in the case of upgradation, the subscriber has to pay the differential amount of contribution at the rate of 8% on monthly compounding basis, right? But when we talk about downgradation, in this scenario, what happens, whatever excess amount is there with respect to contribution that is collected from the subscriber, let us say you are now downgrading, right? So whatever, I would say, the excess amount that has been collected through you, what is going to happen, it would be refunded. It is going to get refunded where, to the subscriber, along with whatever returns that you have generated, right? So this total refund is going to happen in case of downgradation. But with respect to upgradation, if you want to upgrade your contribution, then this is the, I would say, a rate, that is rate of 8% on monthly compounding basis that you need to pay, right? So that is why B is going to be the answer regarding this question. Now question number 14, I would say this is an easy question as compared to the rest of the questions that we have seen, and they were totally factual in nature. But ये भी factual है, but इसमें अगर आपने एक बार पढ़ा है तो आपको कहीं ना कहीं याद जरूर आ जाएगा. At that, which of the following portal acts as a grievances redressal cell for the pensioner? So very easy question, I would say D is going to be the answer, which is Central Grievance Management System. Basically, if you talk about the provisions of PFRDA, then the PFRDA regulations 2015 basically that says that the subscriber, if they want to raise their grievances, they can do so using this portal, which is Central Grievances Management System, right? So that is where they can go and they can raise their grievances. So D is going to be the answer with respect to this question. Now question number 15, which is regarding Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana. It says, which of the following option represents the maximum age to enroll under Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana? So remember, it is asking about maximum age and not the minimum one. Fine, if the question was about minimum age, then the answer would have been, I would say, 60 years, right? But the question is about maximum age. So let me tell you that there is no maximum age. There is no maximum entry age with respect to Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana. Fine, this is something that you need to know. It is a scheme that is there to protect, I would say, the elderly persons aged 60 years and above, and that is why I told you that the minimum age is 60 years, but the maximum is basically no age limit. So E is going to be the answer with respect to the question. So please read about Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana, that which is the ministry. For example, Ministry of Finance is there, that is a nodal ministry. You need to know about the implementation agency also. For example, in this case it is LIC, Life Insurance Corporation. Fine. And yes, very importantly, the eligibility condition is also something that you need to know. So now we are done with the finance component as well as the pension component also. I hope the things are pretty much clear to you, and PYQs are going to play a very important role, right? By now you have got a good idea that what type of questions are asked in PFRDA with respect to pension question. I would say they are very much factual in nature, and with respect to finance, I would say the questions are not very much in depth. So you have to stick to the syllabus, right? और current affairs का बहुत ही कम वेटेज रहा है, ये नहीं कहूंगा कि बिल्कुल वेटेज नहीं है, क्योंकि कुछ क्वेश्चंस हमने देखे बहुत ही कम वेटेज है, तो बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. अगर आपके पास कोई मंथली मैगजीन है जो आप एक्सेस कर रहे हो, तो बस उसी सोर्स को मल्टीपल टाइम्स पढ़ते रहो, कुछ ज़्यादा यहाँ वहाँ भागने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, राइट? बस स्टार्टिंग पोर्शन पे नो डाउट आपकी कमांड होनी चाहिए, ताकि अगर अलग अलग डाइवर्स नेचर के क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं डिफरेंट चैप्टर्स में से, आप उन्हें इजीली आंसर कर पाए. और पेंशन के लिए तो मैं बता चुका हूँ कि यार थोड़ा रट्टा मानना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज जो नेचर ऑफ क्वेश्चन है बहुत ज़्यादा फैक्चुअल है, राइट? सो आई होप दिस सेशन वॉज इफेक्टिव फॉर यू. सो आई होप इट वॉज हेल्पफुल.
Hello everyone. So now let's start with the discussion of the previous year questions for the economics component from phase 1 paper 2 of 2022 and 2021 PFRDA grade A examination. So now we are going to discuss the previous year questions for the economics component, and first we are starting with the previous year questions from the 2022 PFRDA grade A examination for phase 1 paper 2 for economics component. Okay, the first question is in front of you. Try to answer this question, a very easy question. So generally the financial and fiscal year for the Indian government ends on, so the financial year starts from 1st April and it ends on 31st of March. So currently the financial year 2025-26 is going on. So that started from 1st April 2025 and that will end on 31st March 2026. So financial year ends on 31st March. Okay, so I hope everyone gave the answer D. Now coming to the second question, that is Government of India has various sources of income. In the same regard, which of the following is not an example of non-tax source of revenue? So government receipts are divided into two parts. The government is receiving the money through the revenue receipts as well as the capital receipts. Okay. So now the revenue receipts are of two kinds. The revenue receipts are the regular receipts of the government. They are the tax receipts that the government regularly receives, as well as they are the non-tax revenue receipts. Okay, so non-tax receipts, it consists of fees, fines, penalty, dividend, interest receipts, as well as the cash in aid grants. Okay, so this all come under the grants and such, they all come under non-tax revenue receipts. So revenue receipts, they are the regular receipts of the government, or these are the receipts that do not decrease the asset of the government. So government is receiving the money without decreasing its asset or without increasing its liability. Okay, so now non-tax revenue receipts, it consists of fees, penalty, fines, cash grant in aid from the foreign countries that is received by the Indian government. So this is also under the revenue receipt, under the non-tax revenue receipt, the cash grant in aid. Interest received by the government, so this is also non-tax revenue receipt. Profits and dividends received by the government is also an example of the non-tax source of revenue. Now gift tax, as you can, by the name itself you can understand the tax, it comes under the tax receipts. It does not come under the non-tax receipts. So tax receipts, they are not an example of non-tax source of revenue. So gift tax received by the government, it is not an example of non-tax source of revenue. So the answer is E here. Okay, so this is the idea. Now coming to the next question, in the most general language, an increase in MPC, if the marginal propensity to consume is increasing, what will happen to multiplier? So basically multiplier is generally 1 upon 1 minus MPC. This is investment multiplier or government expenditure multiplier is 1 upon 1 minus MPC. So if MPC is increasing, the multiplier also increases. So with an increase in MPC, this will result in increased multiplier. So this is the idea. Okay, so here the C is the right answer. Next is, in the most general language, what is the relationship between income and investment? The question is asking in the general language. So basically, if the income is increasing, with more income, there will be more investment that will be there. Okay, so income and investment, they have a positive relationship. As per Keynes said that investment is autonomous investment that does not depend upon the level of income. But generally the other economists believe that with the increase in income, the investment also increases. So in the general language, there is positive relationship between income and investment. Okay, so answer is B here. This is also known as induced investment. With the increase in income, the investment is also increasing. Okay, next is, which of the following formula gives the correct representation of Fisher equation of money? So Fisher is a classical economist. So Fisher equation was that money supply multiplied by velocity is equal to price level multiplied by transactions. So this is the Fisher equation. So answer here is D. And Fisher and the other classical economists believe that people demand the money for what purpose? For the transaction purpose. So money only has the function of medium of exchange. So this was believed by Fisher as well as by the classical economist. As well as Fisher also showed that velocity and transactions, they can be kept constant. They are usually constant. And with the increase in money supply, the price level also increases and in the same proportion. So with the changes in money supply, the price level also changes in the same proportion. So there is direct relationship between money supply and price level. So the answer here is D, as well as I have provided you some basic additional information. Okay. Now Phillips curve shows relationship between, so Phillips curve shows that there is inverse relationship between inflation rate and unemployment rate. So what is the answer here? D is the answer here. Okay. Now coming to the next question, as per two-sector model. So two-sector model is the model under the Keynesian theory, right? So under the two-sector model, income and employment is based on which of the following component? Effective demand, market demand, king demand, overall demand, or none of the above. So basically, if you remember the Keynesian theory, this is the aggregate demand, this is the aggregate supply. The equilibrium between the aggregate demand and aggregate supply, here we have the equilibrium level of output and employment, we can say, and this point is also known as effective demand. So effective demand or the equilibrium point, it leads us to the equilibrium level of income and the equilibrium level of employment. Okay, so here the right answer is effective demand, where the aggregate demand is equal to aggregate supply. Coming to the next question, which of the following is not a component of core inflation? So I hope you have studied about the core inflation. So core inflation is your CPI inflation. CPI inflation is the inflation that is the retail inflation or headline inflation. That is the inflation that affects the consumers. Okay, so core inflation is the CPI inflation excluding food and fuel prices. Okay, so core inflation is the CPI inflation excluding the food and fuel prices. So core inflation do not include food and fuel prices. So core inflation do not include the volatile prices. So which of the following is not a component of core inflation? The food prices and fuel prices are not a component of core inflation. So here also the answer is D. Now coming to the next question. Now we are starting with the previous year questions for phase 1 paper 2 from the economics component from 2021. So what are the variables of the IS curve? So I hope you know the variables of the IS curve. So IS curve shows the relationship between or the combination of the rate of interest and level of income where the goods market is at equilibrium, right? So the variables under the IS curve are the rate of interest and level of income. So level of income and rate of interest. Okay, so E is the right answer here. M3 is money supply. This is known as what? It is known as narrow money or broad money. So M1 is the narrow money and it is the most liquid form of money supply. M3 is the broad money. It is the broad money, or it is known as the broad money. So M3 is known as the broad money, and in India the Reserve Bank of India uses the M3 to calculate the money supply in the country. So there are 4 measures of calculating the money supply: M1, M2, M3, M4. RBI uses M3 measure to calculate the money supply in the country. Okay, so M3 is also known as broad money. So these are the different measures to calculate the money supply in the country, and RBI uses M3 to calculate the money supply in India. M1 is the narrow money and M3 is the broad money. Now given goods demand curve is, so I hope everyone knows about this, that for the given good the demand curve is upward sloping. So given good, if the price is increasing for the given good, then the demand is also increasing for the given good, and given good breaks the law of demand. Okay, so given good is the good that breaks the law of demand. So here the given good demand curve is upward sloping, so answer is B. Okay, the next is GDP to GNI. So basically if we want to convert the gross domestic product to gross national product, so what do we have to add in the gross domestic product? Domestic to national, we have to add the net factor income from abroad. So here the right answer is C. Okay, so C is the right answer, and these are the conversion. If we have to convert the factor cost to market price, add the indirect taxes, deduct the subsidies. If we have to convert the net to gross, add the depreciation. If we have to convert the domestic to national, add the net factor income from abroad. So these are the conversions. Okay, next, what is the term called when the government's expenditure is more than its receipts or its revenue? So when the expenditure is more than the revenue of the government, then this is the budget deficit. Then this is the budget deficit. Okay, this is the budget deficit. Now current account deficit and current capital account surplus, this is part of balance of payment. The current account, the capital account, these are part of the balance of payment. These are not under the budget. Okay, so that's why this deficit, the budget deficit, is the answer here, because deficit is when we are spending more than what we are receiving. Okay, so answer is A here. So budget deficit is when we are receiving less than what we are spending, so that is a deficit, and budget deficit is when the government is receiving less than it is spending. Okay, next question is, which of the following is not included in purchasing managers index? So this question, it has come in 2021 phase 1 of the PFRDA Grade A examination. Okay, in the paper 2 in the economics component, but try to understand that this is not directly to economics or the syllabus that is given in economics. But if you see the question is very easy. You just have to identify the correct terms here. So which of the following is not included in purchasing managers index? Purchasing managers index. So here we are talking from the manufacturing side, right? We are talking from the manufacturing side. So sector production, the manufacturing units, they are worried about the sector production, the supplier deliveries, the company inventories, the employment. The consumer price is from the consumer side, because consumer price also includes the indirect taxes and such that is based on government. So consumer price is something that is decided in the market, that is that the consumers have to worry about and such. So these are the other things that the manufacturing units care about, and that is included in the purchasing managers index. So purchasing managers index, it is not directly related to your PFRDA grade A syllabus. So this is a out of syllabus question we can say, or this is out of box syllabus. This is out of box question. But if you read the question carefully, then you can understand that the consumer price is not included in the purchasing managers index, because the manufacturing units, they are worried about the other factors. Okay, so purchasing managers index, this is an index that measures the month over month change in economic activity within the manufacturing sector, So this is the basic idea. That's why here we do not consider the consumer price that is determined by the market demand and supply and such, and that is affected by the indirect taxes and such, okay, like the GST, goods and services tax. So purchasing managers index, this is the index that is showing us the activities of the manufacturing sector. So this is not directly related to your economics syllabus, but this is a question, this kind of question can come that you can directly answer from your logic, or if it is coming in phase 1, then you can leave this kind of question also. Okay, next question is marginal utility diminishes with. Now this is also a question that you have to give the answer from your logic. So marginal utility, marginal, I have told you, marginal means additional utility, additional satisfaction. Diminishes, it is decreasing. So additional satisfaction is diminishing if you are consuming more and more, because let's say I am drinking 1 cup of tea, I'm good with it. If I am getting 2 cup of tea, 3 cup of tea, I have to drink 4, 5, 6 cup of teas. You can understand the additional satisfaction diminishes with increase in consumption of a particular product. If I am continuously consuming tea, like one after another, so my satisfaction from the additional cup of tea decreases. Similarly, if I am eating 1 rasgulla, I am very happy with it. If I am getting if I have to eat 2 rasgulla, I might not be getting the higher satisfaction. My satisfaction is decreasing with the rasgulla. If I have to eat 3 or 4, or let's say 5 rasgullas altogether, one after another, so my additional utility, my additional satisfaction decreases with increase in consumption. Okay, so this is the idea. That's why the D is the right answer. Okay, so additional satisfaction, the law of diminishing marginal utility states that all else equal, like other factors remaining constant, as consumption increases, the additional utility, the marginal utility derived from each additional utility declines. So when you are continuously increasing your consumption one after another, the additional utility that you are getting from the additional units, it decreases. Okay, this is the idea. So now how we have discussed the previous year questions for your phase 1 paper 2, okay, for economics and such other subjects that we have discussed, and this is for your previous year questions from the 2022-2021 PFRDA grade A examination for phase 1 paper 2. Now how EduTap can further help you if you want to attempt more and more MCQs. Okay, if you want to give more and more MCQs, and with the more MCQs you are able to recognize that okay, where I'm making the mistake, what are the silly mistakes I'm making, as well as where I am able to improve myself. So if you want to attempt more and more questions, so that you can do through the test series. So EduTap is providing you with the test series. So if you go to edutap.in, you can go to the courses section where you can go to PFRDA grade A courses, where you can see that we are providing you with the test series here you can see the test series where you are getting multiple chapter wise test, you are getting multiple MCQs you are getting, so that you can practice from the examination point of view. The exam level questions are there, so that you can practice from the exam point of view. And this test series is for your phase 1 and phase 2. If you are confident for the phase 1, then you can buy this test series for phase 2, and you can attempt more and more questions to make yourself ready, not only for phase 1 but also for phase 2. Okay, so this is the test series where you are getting multiple MCQs, okay, and chapter wise test you are getting, full length test you are getting, as well as let's say that you are sure about phase 1, that okay, I will clear the phase 1, and you want to get the video lessons or you want to get the material for the phase 2, because for the phase 2 you have to be more prepared. Okay, so if you want to get the phase 2 material, live classes, like you want to get the videos, live class videos, or solve previous year questions, chapter wise test, full length test, if you want to get it, you can get it for phase 2. This is the live crash course that you can take for the phase 2. But before buying any of the course, do get additional information from the team, and in the description box there is the link that is given for the courses that you can see, and you can see that what all you are getting. But before the phase 1, before the phase 2, I will suggest you to to give multiple MCQs, to do multiple MCQs, so that you are exam ready, because in the examination you will have to answer the MCQs one after another, so you should be habitual of answering the MCQs. Okay, so this is it. I hope you enjoyed today's session, and this is how EduTap can help you. We have launched for you the test series for your phase 1 and phase 2, through which you are getting multiple MCQs, and more than 10,000 MCQs you are getting. The chapter wise tests are also provided to you, so that for finance, for management, for economics, and various subjects you are getting the MCQs. Okay, as well as if you want to have the systematic material for your preparation for phase 2, you are sure that you will clear the phase 1, then for phase 2, if you want to have the systematic material, then you can see the live crash course. Okay, you can think about the live crash course, or the silver course is also there. The silver course is also there. In the silver course you are getting the phase 2 material. Okay, so this is the idea. So thank you everyone for joining the session. I hope you enjoyed the session today, and all the very best for the examination. Thank you everyone.